bartender, cadets, coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink. One night, 2 guys came in, they were not old enough to drink. John had the bartender throw their asses out of there, and they left pissed off. They came back the next night, and they tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on from the back, slammed down his beer like a linebacker does. See why I want to get off the damn street corner? It's starting to get real rowdy. But anyway, he goes up front and starts pounding on these guys, beating the hell out of them. A couple of gunshots go off during the bar fight, and John got grazed in the neck, and it went past him and into the wall. He was the only one that got shot. He's the only one that got up. He goes back to the bar, he tells the bartender, get me another beer, we'll get those 2 guys an ambulance. Irony of the story, nobody died. If I tell you that a building is haunted, you are preconditioned to think that some tragic death occurred here, and that is not the case. What's going on here is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here, even if it's not. And they filled it in. They sealed Big John's blood inside the front of the building. People that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or a headache. This is why we start here. I'm taking you to legitimately haunted locations, even though I don't know if they're going to be active tonight. If anybody gets any of those symptoms, let me know, and we'll blame the weather first. You're below sea level. Shit can get weird. So we'll leave the area and kind of look at our situation from there. Started listening at all?
I just turned it, or I'm trying to turn the volume up.
Okay, I got you. All right, so this is a very quick stop. You have to imagine when I have 9 people, or 10 people, I have to explain your devices now that everybody's calmed down a little bit, that you're going to be using paranormal equipment. So this is the Big Red Barn. The history here is super simple. This is where we keep some of the horses for the character at, which is exactly why Aiden is still on mute, because they don't like that noise. The history here is that this is the same Red Barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. Keywords here would be delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable. You guys are really starting to see the point on this communication, right? So let's talk about all the spirit boxes and the word generators that Gayla has. What's the first question somebody wants to ask when they get in front of a Ouija board?
Are you here?
Exactly. Good job. Full starter, the whole party over here. So let's say the 10 of us stood around and I said, is anybody here? Just like, Sam and Colby do. And she's got a spirit box. Aiden hears the answer no coming out of his spirit box. That means somebody's here, everybody. They answered us. We're not using yes, no questions tonight. We're going after details. If somebody's here, tell me what color a Big Red Barn is. Now we know we are looking and listening for the color red. However, 3 of you with spirit boxes are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages like Bumblebee from Transformers. Right? That's the way you got to think of these boxes that you're using. The word red might not be available from the DJ or song lyric, but fire truck, blood, heart, those 3 things are specifically red. And I might take that as something being paranormal if something else was happening to verify it. Another example. Let's say Gayla gets the word art over here. That doesn't mean anything. Damn, I'm going to get you guys mixed up. Zen's going to get the number 40 coming out of first spirit box. If you put Art and 40 together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You guys see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
There's a lot of breadcrumb clues. We got to pick them up. Hopefully we got a loop when we're done. Cameras. We are definitely not going to be filming people or any vehicles. So that's a very big deal. You'll see even when we get into certain spaces, I'll say keep your cameras at belly level because other people might be passing through because it's a very touristy spot. So with yours, Alana, I keep on Alana. I'll get it right. I promise you. Again, you're in the perfect mode right now. Yeah, exactly. Again, people are already going to be, like staring at you with blinky lights anyway.
Mom, the ghost just said cool.
Cool. So the meters. Did we get anything on our meters yet? Any numbers come up on yours?
No.
Nothing.
Except for 0.2 the whole time.
2 the whole time. Okay. So we're looking for 2.5 height. So the 2 I don't even bother right now. Did you find that volume yet, Angela? It's right above the numbers.
Yeah, I see the volume. It's on FM.
Yeah. We're gonna keep it on FM.
Okay.
Yep. We're gonna keep it
I
on
was looking
FM.
for AM.
The AM I actually pushed over to Aiden because it uses both. It uses FM and AM at the same time. We actually, and with yours being recordable, if I was going to turn one to AM, it would probably be the other one. Yeah, it's just more for the muggles that don't do this stuff every day. FM recordings are way more comfortable, I guess, to hear because it's something we're used to. It's much easier to find things.
Ours at home, we get a lot more on AM versus FM. You just get like radio words instead of.
And that's what we want. So with this, we actually want the radio. So you're going to see like this is a whole different style of method because I do get a lot of people that have never touched any of this material before. I know you've done quite a bit down in Louisiana, and you said you were down in Spain and different things. So
We have stuff at home.
what do you have at home?
We have spirit box. We have the big one, like we have the Amazon.
Okay.
And EMF.
This one here is probably my favorite because it's the most accurate, but it doesn't record. It's the only issue with it is that it works before. The one you're using is the only one on the market that has SD card slot. So just to have that idea. Any other major questions on your gear? Have you figured out how to get to the word list yet? There's a little scroll to the right. Bring it up. You can scroll through if you want. Yep. And then top right will take you back. So both buttons on the right. Nice and easy to remember. Yes. Yeah, so again, when I'm talking to the whole group like this, like you guys are like asking a lot of questions, which is fun. But like normally we would have moved on by now. Speaking of, are we ready to go learn some real history?
Yes.
Welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats. Good. Take you guys to weird spots. Got the big smelly dumpster in the corner too. So this is where I start with holding information. If you have a spirit box and communication device, I'm not going to be telling you every little detail. I will give you questions when we kind of, what's going to happen here is I'm going to give you the history, and then we're going to spread out. I'll give all the communication device people questions to work with. I will not be giving you questions here, like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You will get the answers from your communicators. And remember that most of you have something that communicates back. So in the event that Aiden's asking a question, Angela can get the answer. Cameras have audio. They can go there. I'm also wearing audio. Those answers, that's why you guys have to tell me all the weird things that you're getting. The main thing to listen for, by the way, on communication devices, the 3 N's. Names, nouns, numbers. Those are things we can verify. If you ask this ghost how she's doing and she says, I'm doing great, how are you? I don't give a shit. I can't verify any of that. It's just conversational. So, where the hell are we? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 church restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That is 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. We basically need to figure out which one it is. It's like if we were all named Nick. We're all 10 different people. So that's why we look for those clues. The son and the nephew, by the way, were signers of the Constitution. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, especially coming out of an election year. We're going to move on. If I don't give the gentleman that recognition for signing that document for our freedom, then they will do it for me in a nasty manner coming out of a spirit box. So I just make sure that I do it and we just move on. And they use their own voice. They're not using radio chat. Moving on. Eliza. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly. You're going to ask her how old she was when she married Charles. Do not expect numbers from the colonial times when girls got married at like 12 and 14. Today's standards. Double the age that they married. Kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. My own opinion. I'll give you those numbers before we get to it. Anyway, she married him because her father was over in England. Dad thinks he's dying over there, and he's trying to bring all his kids home. We could see him one last time. Eliza didn't believe that he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married in 1744. You don't get married in that year to earn a green card. We are not a country yet. There's no such thing. She married him out of love. This is a true love story, everybody. There's nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it's a place of respect. You'll see that as we kind of continue on. Anyway, moving on. She was right. Dad didn't die right away. And instead, Dad starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes blue jeans blue. A lot of you are wearing it tonight because that's what we use it for. When she got her seeds, though, no idea what to do with it. Well, it was warm here. She had to learn how to keep it going from her servants and slaves that were actually here on property. Learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys all showed up. So I am going to, like I said, hand out questions for you guys to focus on. You can say these things out loud. I am here just about every night. She knows what you're going to ask. But if you go rogue and you ask your own questions, 3 little rules. No yes, no questions. We already talked about that over there at the Big Red Barn. Be respectful. And last but not least, do not ask her about her children. I will explain why before we leave the space. So when we spread out, I'll do probably 2 3 round robins with you guys, write down a few notes, and bring us back here again to show you how it all connects if we have anything at all. So again, this is probably one of the most haunted spaces I've ever been to. I could write a whole book just on this space. I've literally been coming here the entire time I've been giving these tours. So let's kind of go through. Okay. 2 of you and Angela, you're going to have the same set of questions because your spirit boxes are very similar. You're going to be focused on her death. So 4 major answers that we get: age at time of death, how she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Pallbearers. Okay, pallbearer. Right. The president did that to this young lady. If that doesn't say how important she actually was. But those are the four majors. Aiden, where are you at? So with yours, you're going to be focused on. Okay, you're going to be kind of like the catch-all of all of the other questions, but you might get things from this set of questions too. We've seen that before. Aiden's going to be focused on the mansion because it's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it and we get the what. We often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that actually occurred. So it's very, very specific. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of stuff. It was kind of see that kind of move along. But also with yours, Gayla, if you want to ask things about the marriage, like she's pretty happy about talking about her marriage. We're actually coming up on our wedding date. We're getting closer to it, so we might be able to get her to come out a little bit more if we're very pleasant about asking about her wedding date. So it's a very big deal for her. Let's see. Any other major questions with you guys? I think we're all covered. Have we seen any numbers yet? Are you on hold?
I don't know. It's like when you handed it to
Yep,
me.
you're on hold. That's why I had to move. It's okay.
Because I know you said we were between those power poles. So I just figured that
Yeah, if you're on hold, it just holds like whatever's on your screen stays there.
Oh, okay.
So we want it to be able to be versatile to pick up on whatever's going on. All right, let's spread out. Let's be mindful with our cameras, please. We do have police around. I don't poke the bear like what the hell, you know what I mean? Get the questions rolling. I know Albert's on the force wherever he's at, but he's not going to talk me out of like
So this lot.
the whole lot. Just stay away from the 2 vehicles that we have in here. We're actually fortunate that there's only 2 in here.
Well,
You've been recording this whole time? Look at you go. Yeah, with you guys, it's almost better to stand still. With yours, Alana, that one's been acting so goofy. I've been messing with the software for weeks now. I even tried to get a hold of FLIR. Like, come on. Like, why isn't it working with this very upgraded phone? Like, that phone is only like a year and a half old, like the model. So, I don't know what they're doing. I'm hoping that it gets an update, like, one day when I'm sleeping.
so it's not working.
So, that's why we've been taking like 30-second burst videos. So, go ahead and hit that circle and turn to the square. Watch the timer for like 30 seconds. Stop button. I'm just placeholder. How long did you live in your mansion?
Oh, it says 8.8, 3.9, 3.7. I hope you got something on that. It went way up. And then it went back down.
What was that question? How old were you when you died? Yeah, I know. Where were you buried? I don't know. I think 80s. Something 80s. And I heard 2.
Did you live in this mansion majority of your life? I hear you had a lovely garden. So, what was the most favorite plant you had growing here? Okay, that's so.
Yeah, I got 5. 6 more. It went up to 39.4. It went back down. This was like a really special room.
You asking any questions? Gayla? You asking any questions?
Yes, I have been asking questions.
Have you getting
Apparently
answers?
I'm getting something from around here because it says soccer, and I'm pretty sure they didn't do that.
Says what?
Soccer.
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 Let me know if you hit those triple digits again.
Because it was kind of weird. It's like, wow.
Your baseline, just tell me everything above 25. And I'll explain before we leave the space. Anything weird going on with the cam? And with that cam, because the screen's so damn small, I don't always keep up. Like, the communication with people can be more real time. This one's, I sent it to YouTube so I can watch it on a damn bigger screen. April, you hearing anything weird?
I haven't heard anything, but when he started talking, this kind of started going crazy depending on what questions he asked. Because we tried to move here to make sure we were sort of
Anything we've heard any words?
I haven't gotten anything that I can really read. It's just more like just random chatter, but it's very consistent with what I said.
Yeah, it's just like random, like there was kind of a song that popped up, and it's just sort of random stuff like that.
But I haven't actually gotten what the definition is.
Yeah.
Again, the other two ladies are going to be hearing a whole hell of a lot more. Everybody watch the card. There's only one way out of here. But that one, the ratio of accuracy is way higher. Speed, you might not have 20% somewhere else. That's just why I like it.
Somebody got shot here. No, it stays around this most of sometimes.
Hard keeping up with 9 people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if maybe a special room or something. Well,
Were you happily married?
Businesswoman.
Were you happily married?
How did you die?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I know what you guys are going to ask. I didn't have questions. But again, just tell me like what the names and what the numbers are, and I'll show you how it all kind of comes together because you don't know what everybody else is asking. But yeah, you're on the right track. None of those numbers mean anything specific. I'll tell you about the doors later on. What do we got going on with your number?
I wanted to not. You asked me.
Okay.
Maybe it's in the one now. I think it's.
You broke it. I've tried it on the phone, on yours. It's honestly, it's just plug in.
Oh wait, I also heard like brick, and I don't know if that's like how she died.
I'm going to give you all the answers to show you how it goes down. So, yeah, you just tell me all the names, dots, and numbers, and don't really worry if it's going to stick or not. I'll show you what it's going to do.
Yay! Okay, I want to go where it was an 8 or a 9. It's before that. Show me where, right?
You have
Shirt. And then I heard 3. And yeah, I mean,
Did I hear 85 come out of you?
yeah, I heard 85.
How far back did you hear blue and gray?
I heard gray when we were crossing that street. I heard blue like right as we were like,
Were we closer to the old Tennessee mansion or closer to here?
kind of in the middle, like I feel
Right in between.
like yeah, in the middle.
You said like you.
Yeah, like
Yeah, because like blue and like you.
Well, the reason I'm interested in blue and gray combined is because that's Civil War colors. Not to mention the indigo is what made those blue and gray. So the gray is just less indigo. So that's the reason why I'm more interested in like that blue and gray combined.
what about 85?
85 is damn close, but it's no cigar on me. So when I heard it, I was like, so close. Aiden, what'd you get on yours?
I just got a bunch of randomness.
Probably good. Nothing you can make out.
30.
30.
Now Mark.
Mark? I'm not surprised by Mark. I won't worry about that. Oh, that is interesting. Very cool. All right. So with the cameras, you guys got the gist. Let's make sure that we're.
How come ain't nobody showing up?
We go back. You gotta hit that button. Go back to night vision.
Oh.
That's all right. Yeah, that's why you guys keep me around. Yeah, Jay, we're gonna put you on mute and keep you on that. But I'm gonna give you something else to play with while we're here. Again, I'm always about new experiments, so I think we're definitely gonna need one.
What kind of testing is it?
Yep. You're the guinea pig, man.
I'll test.
So he's gonna keep that on mute?
Yeah, he's gonna keep it on mute. Throw it in your hoodie pocket if you have one.
Say, just put it in your pocket.
Oh, no, no.
okay.
No, no.
Oh, by the way, your the millimeter folks, your baseline is going to start at an H, not a 2.5. We have some lamp posts near us. They usually give up to about a 7. So I just want to make sure we go above that.
Would you?
I didn't say it, I promise. My mom did it.
Wind is vicious tonight.
Oh, this was like the quietest that this has been so far.
Yeah, when we were asking questions, it kept.
Wow. Bob and Helen. Who the hell are these people? Who'd you bring with you? Anybody named Bob or Helen?
Incredibles.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so I'm going to hand you this crazy voice recorder. It can literally hear a frog fart from a mile away. This is what we're going to be calling a live EVP session. I did put a windscreen on here, so it should help with some of that craziness coming through. Put these headphones on slowly, and I'll show you how this guy works. So wherever you point the microphone is where you get the most sound. You see the point? Alright, point it wherever you need to. You guys will see why we're using this while we're here. Yeah. You got it. Yeah, you got this. All right, so welcome to Philadelphia Alley, everybody. This place, every ghost tour comes here. I know it looks like I'm a liar right now because there's nobody else down here but us. But if other tourists do come down here, obviously we lower our cameras. We will understand the footage of our feet. We let them pass through the sea. They'll stop talking. They'll stare at you with envy, and we'll stand there humble. Anyway, we all come down here because, and we can prove this actual story because this used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So it was kind of a hiding spot because dueling was illegal in the 1700s. This just happened to be one of the spaces that they went to. So, and by the way, this is probably one of the most picturesque places we have here in Charleston. It's one of my favorite places. This actually makes better pictures than Rainbow Row, in case you're wondering, because it's always beautifully lit, and it's always pretty damn quiet down here. Unless there's like a million tourists, which there probably will be here in about 20 minutes. But a lot of tours end here. But anyway, we all tell the same story. I was going to take this out of my route because every ghost story tells a story. I'm going to give you extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire and marshmallow kind of ghost tour where you're just going to hear the fluff story and move on. And you're going to know why Aiden's wearing those crazy headphones once we kind of go through the damn story. So, Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If anybody listening to the Spirit Box right now, here's the song Brown Eyed Girl. It is not coincidence. We get it down here all the time because it is part of his name, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Moving on. That was some kind of hole being hit. I like to make markers, so I do listen to that thing from start to finish. So one thing I don't spot check, I go through the whole thing. Anyway, moving on. Doc moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. And, oh, by the way, I forgot to ask, Gayla, what were our words that we got? What were the last 4 or 5 times that you had?
30 work, and I just got fight.
Light. Interesting. Trying to see how it plays out. So anyway,
Chest.
Chest?
Like what you shot in the
No, actually. Now you're getting
Well,
excited.
somebody was.
Somebody. I'm sure somebody did at one point, but just not this particular ghost that we're talking about. So anyway, Amanda, when she inherited all this debt, money from her dead parents, she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow that she just got, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. He moves here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. Obviously, struggling to, struggling to provide. And then we had, there was 2 other terms. I was like, okay, I can kind of see that. So I wrote them all down. You guys can make notes. They were very vague, but they all kind of make sense to the story. Anyway, Doc moves here, and on his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world, in case anybody was wondering, all you youngins in the group, what the hell a coachman is. The Uber driver, basically. He was set up, but somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Do Ralph's initials sound familiar to anything else I've said since we've been here? Where's the doctor from? Rhode Island. So we get the letters R.I. from time to time on regular spirit boxes. I had another device, Sam told me to use it all the time, called an Envoy. It's actually like a little digital Ouija board. We only got the letters R.I. whenever I brought up Ralph's name. So just like we don't use it because somebody dropped it and broke it. We on the insurance claim back on that one. Moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, hey man, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. I have friends there. They'll rent your room. You'll be safe. Good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. The 2 gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. Proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She got wind of this, and she wrote him a letter saying she was moving to Charleston so they could be married. And Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. Hence why we're using this crazy voice recorder. Now, every ghost that comes down here tells you to listen for the damn whistles. We don't need to listen for them because we have 2 cameras running, my voice recorder and Aiden's voice recorder. But why are we down in Jewelers Alley when I'm telling you about this happy guy about to be married? Let's get into that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph listen plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. The doctor gets better seats. So on their way home, they were discussing this actress they just saw, and Doc thought she was great. Ralph did not. They started arguing, and then Ralph was insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. The between the two of them, they went their separate ways. But the next day, Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad and rebutted. Let's go to Jeweller's Alley. Somebody's going to die. All this over an actress, by the way. Just like to point out how dumb shit was in the 1700s. Yeah, so the two gents came down here back to back. They took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up. If you've seen Hamilton, you know that that's how it goes down. Ralph has his one bullet. It didn't go in the chest. It went into the doctor's kneecap. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground. Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed, not willing to forgive. Doc's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, not 85, was the number that you heard earlier. But he also did that after refusing medical treatment. Two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, the guy's a doctor, everybody. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, again, like I said, every ghost story tells you to listen for those whistles. I can't tell you how many times I'm going through the S-Box recording that Angela's using, and I find the whistling part of the song and then the word doctor immediately after from the commercial. It happens all the time. I already told you how I go through and spot check all your media, and then I look at the timestamp and say, oh, we are near the alley at this time. So again, if I find the whistle, obviously you guys will have that. But if you walk all the way through here without me, because remember, I've been kicked out of this state. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Just remember that every local knows the story. So if you record this walk from your voice recorders on your phone, anybody walking up and down Queen Street or Cumberland, we all throw a whistle down this alley. It's just something that we do here. So just kind of keep that in mind. I can't even drive past this alley without whistling. But Doc will follow us around. He does have a code word to let me know that he's around. It's a word that isn't commonly heard on the radio. So when it does show up, I get pretty excited. I also want something else to verify that. You guys will see that at the end of the night. If it doesn't show up, somebody ask me, and I'll tell you what the code word was. I don't want you guys looking for it. So how did I get booted out of here? Here's the fun part of the story, and it's also more me about bragging about my damn research. So the alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there. And the reason why is because this is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. This was called Cow Alley before it was Jeweller's Alley. So cows, goats, and chickens were all down there. Why am I telling you this? Down at the end is where they started building it and worked their way a couple of hundred years to what we're standing on now. Those bricks are older, obviously. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, like face up in one of those bricks that you can see as you walk past it. And I used to take my groups through it as a history lesson. Nothing paranormal about that brick. I don't normally take it to cemeteries. You guys already know how I feel about that. Same thing about this brick. He's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So, November 26, 2020, my entire group, same size as you guys, they decided to stop at that brick and see what's going to happen with the devices. Well, I know the kid's not going to be there. I'm trying to shoo him along because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't realize that we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming his head off at me. My daughter was on the tour that night. She was about 14. She thought it was hysterical. She was laughing her ass off the entire time. Anyway, we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't do this on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I work in upper management for Walmart, and you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and have scarred me for life. I don't do holidays anymore. So the next day was Black Friday. I called my partner that brought me into this crazy tourism mess, and I called him up, and he's laughing. He already got the complaint from the city. Obviously, the guy complained. And he said, you're not allowed to go down that far, it's residential, and he hung up the phone, which means I got to figure it out because the rest of my tour used to be that way. So I told my team that night, I don't believe in this next story because I get into vampires, not pirates. Now, normally we would go to a pirate place next, but they rezoned the city. We're not allowed over there anymore. But if I tell you we're going to be discussing pirates in Charleston, who's the first pirate to think of?
Blackbeard.
Thank you. For a full star, not saying Jack Sparrow. Get it all the time. I know. So, Blackbeard. Most people would think that, like, you're in Charleston, you're going to hear a Blackbeard story. No. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating, but somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them it was going to be a female pirate named Anne Bonny. Oh, I've heard. Right. So, now, we got around the corner. I told them what I did know about Anne Bonny here in Charleston, which wasn't much, because I only had a quick day to research. And somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of another spirit box. I don't know what it means. I wrote that shit down. I'm at the office to do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial and had other things to be able to verify things about that trial. I was actually pretty pissed. Here's why. Pirates weren't my thing, but I have a lot of degrees in writing, like I said, and I love to research. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. pirate lore was written 100 years after the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny. That's a problem. That's grapevine stuff. You never know what's real and what's not. So it's really hard to try to find those documents. So anytime you guys find a piratey term, it was a shit ton of research, like playing video games, watching documentaries, reading a lot of textbooks. Like half my lab right now is just books on pirates, but we're not allowed over there. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because we're going to be right next door to it, and you already know bleed over has occurred. So hopefully something will actually pop through. I'm hopefully thinking that that mark in that 30 is going to connect that you have on that list. So it's very interesting how this is actually going to work. What I'm thinking is because one of Anne Bonny's lovers, her name was Mary Reed, but she went by Mark to become a pirate. There were no female pirates. They couldn't be female. And I want to say that her death date was April 30th. So I'm not positive. I don't want to put a pin on that yet, but it is something I'm going to dive into when I get back to the office. And we do have all of those resources saved. So we might actually have something relevant to Mary Reed trickling over as we get closer, obviously, to the month of April. So very interesting piece. Anything else going on with your devices before we actually have this space? Yeah.
I heard passage and then I heard my name. So, and I that is it. It comes out.
Okay. Anything coming out of yours? I know you were kind of focused on me this entire time. Have you heard anything weird?
I heard a weird, like, swoosh sound, but that can be anything.
Probably a lot of wind out there. A lot of things moving around. Does anybody else want to see what that thing sounds like for a quick minute before we leave this space? Okay. All right. Yep. No. Throw the headphones on. I'm sorry. Are you on?
His mom.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Throw the headphones to Mom for a minute, and then we'll pass it over to the two of you. Aaron has to probably help her out there. She's got headphones everywhere.
I'm a mom.
I kind of give you guys like a minute of it, whoever wants to try it out, because it is weird, and it's just the only space that we use that record. And that could also be the name or to marry, so we don't know in what context until I have something else. So if we have the name Amanda that shows up later on, that would definitely verify that marry Amanda. That would make sense. Instead of a married person, somebody named Amanda. Sorry, wordsmith, I have to think outside the box with every single term you guys tell me. But I like the word passage while we are here. Four?
Yeah, 13.
Does Eva mean anything?
Not to my knowledge, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything.
I swear.
From that list, if it has a name now or a number on it, I dive into every one. Every single one. Like, and again, I've been using that app for probably 6 or 7 years at this point. Sometimes it'll surprise me with something new that I haven't seen. Or show up with a name in an area that I've never seen that there before and learn something new. I get excited when I have to research. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but a lot of the stuff you guys are finding is pretty common, and I just get used to it.
Yeah.
I just see the patterns in it. Like her hearing all of that church stuff on the way here, I'm like, we're getting nearer to the tallest steeple in Charleston of the holy city. Like, so, yeah, of course you're gonna hear all those churches.
First girl.
Or they were showing that.
There's no what they're doing up there. I know it's leaning, but they're not going to straighten it. They're going to leave it. It's been that way for 150 years at this point. Because that was that 1806 that made it lean. So,
Yeah.
So that's 114. Yeah, so at 140 years.
Ramsey.
No, but I'm going to write it down. I don't know if there is it. All right, anybody else on that crazy voice recorder?
No, that's us.
No, I meant anybody else want to listen to it?
Sorry.
Nothing but us chickens. Oh man.
Gonna listen? Yeah. I don't know. I think I can never hold that.
What's that?
I just heard
Billions
I
don't know.
Selling
And then
clothes.
another one came up, I don't know. And sounds like the ocean.
I'm feeling really
Here? That's actually pretty common.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I don't usually get, like, I'll get tingly and stuff sometimes, but.
So, quick story. I don't normally get affected either. You would think I would with migraines and everything like seizures. But we'll say about 8 or 9 months ago, I was walking down the left side of this, and it felt like I had vertigo. Like somebody was literally holding me, almost like against the fence. And my team was watching me, and they were filming the whole thing, and they're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I felt like somebody was pushing me." And I kind of like brushed it off as nothing. I don't like to put my feels into this because I can't verify. Sorry. No, you're and didn't know. And if they were walking along that left side, and you're standing on what I would call the left side, so I'm not surprised that you kind of feel a little nauseous. So we should probably wrap this up so we can get you the hell out of here. Dana, all right, pass that back to the families over here when you get the time. I think you guys are kind of kick that little yeah, it's a great eavesdropper for sure.
You could hear, I could hear like you guys breathing. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a great mic. I've actually used it for podcasting before. Not every, like when I'm a guest on another podcast, I can't do it every time. I have different mics for different, platforms. That thing actually comes out really well on a podcast. It's a musician's voice recorder.
Oh.
Like you can plug guitars into it and all kinds of things.
The wind was kind of cool though because the wind sounds like the ocean through that.
Well, we call that a dead kitten that's on top of it. If I didn't put that on there, the whole recording would be ruined.
Yeah. I don't know why, but the word like punk just like popped in my head randomly. I don't know if it's because of that over here or anything.
I just discussed pirates and there were pirates.
Family business.
So there's a possibility that it could just kind of trigger. I mentioned pirates and the hanging of pirates kind of comes to mind.
It was like hanging in suspense. I should have brought my army great Kyle. Well, my face is more
Coming down this
way.
Let's hand that voice recorder over because we need to get Angela
Yeah,
out of here. She's not feeling so great. So we're going to walk up around the corner. We're going to add an attachment to Albert's camera, and I'm going to tell you the history of that space. And we're going to get things from the doctor over there as well. So we have and Bonnie used to tell the story that everybody else tells, but the story is cursed to females. If you guys look at the demographic that's standing in front of us, I usually see a lot of females come out and do this. So I found something else one night when I was going through that data. I'll get to that in just a moment. Here's why we're here. This is our tallest steeple. No building in Charleston is actually allowed to be taller than this building. That's why we're called the Holy City, because our skyline looks like a bunch of church steeples. So this is kind of a twofold story. We have another fire raging through Charleston, 1796. And basically, the city of Charleston didn't want the beautiful steeple of St. Philip's to be burned down, so they blew up another church down the road, creating an oxygen pocket in the hopes that the fire would actually go in that direction. It was a great idea, it just didn't work. The church caught fire, and then there's a man down on the wharfs that sees that his master's church is on fire. We're talking about a slave. His name was Boney. His real name was William. He runs up here and literally scales the building, hand and foot. There's nothing to hang on to climb. He gets up to the top and he starts pulling all of the burning shingles off the church, and he essentially saved the building. The pair saw what he had done, and they all came together and they purchased his freedom for him. It was just over $700. Just to put things in perspective for you based off the times. Once he died, his ghost is said to be seen all around this area protecting the church. They'd call him the Gray Man, another cliche, just like a whistling ghost. Here's the other half of the story. 100 years after Boney's death was a young girl on the other side of the church. Her name is Sally. She's hanging out with her friends. She's between 12 and 14 years old, and she's a bit of a smartass. Her friends dared her to go into the cemetery at night and go put a cane over Boney's grave. Quick fact check, Boney would never be buried in either one of these cemeteries because of the color of his skin. Just going to point that out. But anyway, she took him up on the dare, and she snuck out of the house in the middle of the night. She runs into the cemetery, and she gets scared. She runs out and realizes she forgot to leave the cane. She runs back in, stakes it into the ground. She tries to run away again, but she can't. Basically frightens herself like that. Going through it, and anybody listening to a spirit box can verify that the radio chatter normally only goes like 2 to 3 radio waves. I found something that went over 5, and it was a young girl's voice, and it was not broken up. Sally went across. And I was like, oh shit, I know there's a Sally story nearby. So I started digging through all my Charleston books, and then I came across the Boney part of it. I was like, oh, there's some actual truth here. So what's going on? So this is the new story of the year for this year. We're still learning about it. You guys are going to hopefully teach me something new. I write down all the silly shit that you guys are finding. Anybody with a millimeter, I'll show you exactly. There's a sarcophagus that keeps giving us readings out of it, and there's no reason for it. So some nights it gives it to us, other nights it doesn't. So So we'll kind of see what happens. But I'll show you where that's at. We're going to stay along the cemetery. Like, we're going to be looking at the cemetery, not the graveyard. Anybody know the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard?
Cemeteries for people that are baptized.
No.
Or the graveyard's church.
One of them's at a
Right. Graveyard's
right.
at the church. The easiest way to remember that is the house gets the yard, church gets the graveyard. The cemetery is off the property. So St. Philip's has both. The difference on these is you have to be a native Charlestonian to be buried in the graveyard. Everybody else goes across the street. Your 7th vice president is buried across the street on our side. So that's because he's not from here. If he was over there because they thought he was born here. Well, he wasn't. So they moved his ass several times trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. That's John Calhoun, in case we're wondering. But yeah, we're going to go up there along the lines, and obviously Albert's camera is going to be the major focus.
Inscription.
Some nights it doesn't give us anything. It goes all the way to the back. Get out of the way, I'm filming. Holy mackerel, this wind. What are we hearing down there?
That 4 was the house that I got.
Okay. The highest we've seen here has been like a 24. And that's a pirate captor. That's William Rhett right there. He actually caught gentleman pirate, Steve Benet. Well, he's not the pirate. He's the guy who caught the pirate.
Oh, he
Caught the pirate. Did you bring all this wind with you, dude?
In your feet, right?
How's that working? fire hydrant. Kind of
I asked you before, is there anyone, I heard this thing today, maybe you can tell me where it's from, as well.
Yeah. Fine. I think there's
should have brought my heated gloves tonight. Any other weird phrases being heard?
Is there
I mean, I just heard a lot about like graves and like church and stuff.
nature? Is that
Stuff
you?
about, like,
Are
your
you
back.
a member of this? Are you a
That's
member
weird,
of
but
Union versus
no.
Federal Army? Are you an Army personnel?
there wasn't really any numbers. I heard birthday, and maybe if anyone else got like numbers. Or...
Did you play a part? Did you bet? If there is a major, did you play any part in the sieges of Barcelona?
Ask if he has any disinfectant wipes, right? What happened? Nick. Do you have any disinfectant wipes? No, she's worried.
All the time.
I have
Can I have that? I'm just scared. That's my biggest fear is getting sick.
She just got those with detox.
Yes, I know. I've been sick.
Oh, I also
since
heard
second
liar. I heard liar.
How old are you?
Church music and graves.
I'm just being very precautious. Okay? It's
Normally
okay.
have
How old are you?
Thank you so much.
I understand the cemeteries for non-Palestinians who are house.
Nashville.
How old are you? Did you? I heard you. I heard someone mention a major area. Were you a major in what army were you?
Did you have
a
I did see a tree moving like when I was down there, and it freaked me out because it was like so cold, and there was like this movement. I'm like, no, it's just down.
What event in Charleston are you
Really?
We were talking to Mrs. It was going nutty.
Maybe have him set it. Because hers has done that a couple times too.
Were you involved? Did you?
did my name happen to show up on
Is that ever
like she couldn't hear anything up here, honestly. Like, we were trying to, yeah. But, like, what she did,
Thanks, Luna.
Is my margin with this? This is so hard.
It's not there. It's not there.
Margin with your dad, what events?
all right, I say we wrap this one up. You guys have been like. Quiet your ass down. When we're done, because you're still not going to be able to hear me, she's going to tap you on the leg. Take off your blindfold and headset. I will never touch you. So, Aiden, you're going to be able to hear me, no problem. So I'll just say, peel that thing off your face, and that's when we're done. We will do this for 10 minutes. You're going to tell me everything you hear, including yes, no answers. You didn't do that right, by the way?
I've got some good radio.
We got
I got 9.6, I got 6.0, I got like 4.7.
That's good. I'll write this down. I'll put a 9 and a 6. That's good. Let me know if you get anything above that 9.
She
So,
got loud when you were telling her.
yeah.
Loud.
Yeah. So, don't blindfold yet. You're going to tell me everything you hear, including yes, no answers. Because you don't know what I'm asking. That's where this is an situation to do yes, no answers. Aiden, I'm going to set yours up. In the minute you actually get your like headphones and everything on is when I start the timer. Start telling us what you're hearing almost immediately. So don't forget to talk. Before? Okay, so this is not going to be Jurassic Park eating your face off. Just so you have that. Yeah, you're good to go. So it is.
Evil.
Yeah, 11:02.
Next door, Texas, next.
So you are going to see images every once in a while that's going to show up in front of a cloud of smoke. Tell us what those images are and be brief because she talks a lot, obviously. So 2 people on steps. That's it. That's all you're going to say.
Falling out of the sky.
We're all going to be able to see the images when we're done with this session anyway. Has she said anything that might be relevant to the story I just told you? Because she talks a lot. She's so quick.
Ain't nobody. She said evil, but I don't think that really goes
If
with the
it's a story in
story.
there, you're going to turn this focus dial right here. Keep your chin up. You don't want to hit the virtual buttons that are going to show up at the bottom. So I'm just setting it up for you so you can get this thing slid on. Henry, I'm getting everything set up here. Can you tell us what you did for a living? You already know what you do. What did you do for a living?
Today.
What about today? Nothing specific about today. So you're going to see that smoke in there, and then every once in a while, you're going to see a picture. Just tell us what the picture is.
Dying people. Market strong.
Awkward. I got it. Henry, what did you do for a living? What was your job?
Apples?
You got apples already? Like a picture?
Yeah. Like 3 apples.
Okay.
Which are wilted meat.
Okay.
State.
Henry,
First.
what did you do for a living? What was your job?
Saturday. Felony.
Henry Timrod, I need you to push through.
One more.
Is somebody else here with you?
Right now.
Thank you for the right.
2.
Henry, what's inside this building that belongs to you? Henry, we're using the blue box too.
Instagram. Music.
Henry,
No. Daughter.
what's inside the building, Henry? What belongs to you inside this building?
Charge second. Alarm.
Henry Timrod,
Question, hammering. Legend.
there is a legend. What's the legend about? Can you tell us?
Do you mind?
We're trying to be respectful here, Henry. We're trying to fill in the gaps for these folks. You can use the blue box too. That's Aiden. You can see whatever you want us to see.
Pride. One thing.
What's inside the building? Tell us about it.
Lotus. I. Bedroom.
Other than the apples, it's just blank.
Yeah, and I mean, we have one image.
You have to
so
understand.
why not get in it? So happy we have one so far.
Put in heaven in my mind.
Henry, if you want to change the subject, I'm trying to get to your work and what you did for a living. Because that's what's inside this building. If you want to change the subject, you have to tell us.
With you.
It's not in the month of October, like during the
Well,
month of
sir.
the sun's death. So I'm not like super.
Someplace.
Girl with girl. Young girl.
Mama and blueberry. In your clothes.
Are you sure that's a girl?
It's a young girl, but her eyes are really blacked out.
Yeah. Henry,
Emails,
do you want to talk about your son? If so, you got to give us
oh,
when his birthday was to kind of verify that that's the subject that you want.
in the middle.
When was your son's birthday? What holiday?
Rogers, first of all. Get out of my head.
Henry Timrod. When was your son's birthday?
Everywhere.
What holiday?
Hell has enough.
Henry.
Where?
Henry Timrod. We're going to be running out of time here really
Where?
fast.
No.
It's already been about 6 minutes. You know, we only go about outfits for 10.
Which you?
If you want to talk about Willie, you got to tell us his birthday. It might be hard to
In the wrong of this time.
We'll take the number of his birthday.